Oh, hi. Look, we're here. So football writers have to love Chip Kelly for so many reasons. He's bringing high-tempo football to the boring NFL, and now he's making trades like that guy in your fantasy league who thinks it's a rule to trade with everyone in the league and to be drunk all the time. Maybe I've forgotten the free agency game, but this year's version has been very entertaining. You have Sue with the Dolphins, the old guy brigade coming to the rescue in Indy, the continued implosion of the 49ers, and the Titans signed a wide receiver who I just added in my Dynasty roster, which says a lot about my Dynasty roster. Sharona, how you rolling with the free agency goodness?
I'm rolling. I'm desperately trying to keep up with it all. It's been crazy. It's sort of slowed down today. I think people were like, "Hey, we got to get a break. We got to have a nap or something like that." I don't know.
Truly.
But we've been working, burning the midnight oil, working round the clock at PPI, trying to keep everything updated, and plus I'm working on a big project, and so it's been kind of crazy. But hey, I'm hanging out with two of my favorite guys. It's all good.
So, by the way, this is going for two. I think I haven't mentioned that yet. So, let's talk with our special guest tonight. This week, we're bringing the first lady of RotoViz, the Sultan of Stats, or is that just the guy in Michigan of stats? He's the biggest fan
That
of the
works too.
Portsmouth Spartans, I mean the Detroit Lions, and the 49th season of their rebuilding project. It's James Todd, who is
Damn.
number 119 in our series. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well, guys. Thanks for having me. Come on.
Thanks for joining us.
I do want to say that we've officially decided on our end that if you screw up at something, you're referring to it as I've tightened that. So I
You've
really
typed.
tightened that draft pick. That's just how it is.
That works. That works. You could say you lioned it too, though. That would
Yeah,
be almost as good
but the
or
refs had
bad.
nothing to do with our screwing up. So James, of all the intangibles, which one is your favorite?
Oh, it's got to be heart. Heart. I mean, it's all about heart, right?
Hmm.
Which, speaking of the Titans, apparently they didn't assess Jake Locker's heart very well. His heart is no
Ooh.
longer in football,
Soon.
Maybe they
but
stole it.
intangible.
I
Could be.
mean,
Could be.
maybe the suck factor was so strong that it sucked the heart right out of
It
him.
sucked it right out of him. That's right. That's right.
Well, it is an intriguing thing just because pretty much all the quarterbacks signed, like the backup signed for pretty big money. So Walker was looking at, a few million bucks probably as a potential backup and probably had a shot at a starting gig, but he just said, nah. And
He's good, I guess. See, I would have gone the Kyle Orton route and just
Really?
traveled around the league cashing paychecks and holding clipboards, but
Charlie Whitehurst, Clipboard Jesus.
that's right. That's right.
yeah, I forgot about the two most underrated quarterback re-signings, Dan Orlovsky and Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore,
Both.
everybody, who is shooting to break the record set by Rusty Smith, longest tenure as an NFL third-string quarterback. I believe he's going into year four, and he hasn't even played. Rusty Smith at least got in the field a couple times.
Hasn't
Yeah,
seen the
we
field. Yeah,
we operate in a National Football League where Dan Orlovsky can get a gig, and Vince Young can't even get invited to the Veteran Combine.
That was hilarious. Did he
it
actually
makes no
get turned
sense.
down, or is that just like a rumor? Because that's
He
just
was not invited to begin
uh,
with, and he submitted his paperwork late.
hmm. Well,
And they
that's
rejected it.
not consistent with his character. Yeah.
At all.
Hard to figure. Yeah, Kellen Moore will always have his paperwork in on time. He's probably got his insurance premiums paid up, and you
Talk
know
about intangibles, right?
that's right. They're screaming, leaping off the page. But I don't know. There's got to be a backup linebacker somewhere that could do more for the team than him. But
There's got to be this some small part of the Lions fan base that must think that like he could be the guy because he probably looks good in preseason.
he looks great in preseason. Sure, he's spunky. He's spunky. He's got moxie.
Grits. He's gritty.
Yes, that's right. Grit and
Well, we
moxie.
like that.
We do like that. We do
A
like
quick
that.
note: we'll do some quick beer sponsors. So Ballast Point Calico, that's a what is that? A amber ale started with duck rabbit brown ale, and then we'll finish up with a little smutty nose winter ale because I'm a
Mm.
professional, everybody. Can't go into this, lightly. Just saying. So, James, how did you get the title First Lady of Rotoviz?
When I started there, um, I didn't write. I started just as an editor. So proofreading, um, organizing everybody, making sure we didn't have, 6 Kellen Moore articles for the same day, that we had enough variety of content, things like that. So trying to keep a bunch of stat heads organized, writing in complete sentences, that kind of thing. So kind of like a den mother. Anyway, that's where the nickname came from.
Do you get to choose, who joins the crew?
That's ultimately Fantasy Douche who does that. I do get to read the articles that get submitted and give him some feedback on, yeah, we can work with this, and no, we can't work with that. But it ultimately comes down to his call.
Do you need to get like a T-shirt? Fantasy Douche is my boss. That'd be awesome.
That's right. Now we did get some lovely hoodies last year, so those are nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
we had about a 6-week debate, a couple hundred emails about whether they should be pullovers or zip-ups, with lots of statistical analysis of
I was wondering if
pros
that's
and cons
versus film kind of argument.
of each. Yeah, it kind of broke down along age lines. The older guys wanted the pullovers, and the younger guys wanted the zip-ups. So the younger guys won.
The people who had
I'm
less
team
reps.
zip up.
Your team zip-up? Yeah, we're all team zip-up now. It was a good call.
Very good call.
That's cool. We can have that's what we need in fantasy football. We need like kind of fantasy football like biker gangs where
That's
everybody
right.
gets out their slide rules and meets in the middle of the street and cranks out some
That's right.
algorithms.
That's right. I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Do a
Is this
little,
time? Is it now? Where are you in like the 5 stages of grief when it comes to Ndamukong Suh, or have you already gone through them all?
I've kind of gone through them all, I think. I don't think he's a replaceable player at all. I won't really miss him as a person. But there's no replacing him on the field. They traded for Haloti Nada, which is nice. Um, better probably than any of the free agents anyway, but they gave up 2 draft picks for him. So that's nice, but it's not going to replace him.
He's a nice player though. I think he'll
Always
really
fabulous.
do well there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll be a nice fit in Detroit, and Sue will be, even though he got paid, I don't think that'll be an issue as far as motivation. He just likes beating up on people too much on the field, and being good. So I think he'll be great for Miami in that regard. And I don't know, can you overpay for a guy like that? I don't think so. I think it was probably worth what they spent to get him.
Yeah, but is it gonna? How much is it going to matter if Ryan Tannehill doesn't hit that next level?
Right, not much. Not much. If you figure that Stafford is a better quarterback than Tannehill at this point, it didn't, they still didn't win anything in Detroit with Sue either. But there's not an impact player like him on defense, I don't think, other than J.J. Watt.
What about Nick Fairley? Are they still trying to get him back?
That's interesting. It's come out in the last 24 hours or so that the Lions have been telling different agents around the league that they're no longer in the market for Fairley. So it looks like he's gone too, which really doesn't make any sense to me. I can understand if they didn't feel like they could afford to re-sign Sue, but they've just gutted the best part of the team, which was the defensive line. So I'm not really sure what that means.
Well, new coaching staffs will tend to do that. They weren't their guys. They were drafted under previous regimes. And honestly, I know that people should never do that, but I do it all the time. Jim Caldwell, I didn't think that Fairley or Sue fit what he wanted in guys. So I'm really actually not that shocked about it.
That's good insight. And I can see that neither one are really kind of his family guy kind of
right. I mean,
person. And not as a good replacement. Some people are saying maybe they switch to a 3-4 now. They do have Ziggy Ansah, who's probably big enough to play end in a 3-4. And they have another end.
What do you think about Devin Taylor?
Yeah, Devin Taylor, who's a real big end. I think
love
he'd be
him.
fine as a 3 end in a 3-4-2. So yeah, that could work out well. It could work out. They have James Jones who can play either inside or outside.
Former
Um,
Titan.
there you go. There you go. You guys tightened that when you let him leave.
We sure did.
But so I think that's probably what's going to happen. Change in the front.
Yeah, I was wondering who was taking over. Was it C.J. Mosley? They still have him signed?
That's a good question.
I was just looking at
I
the
think
depth
so.
chart. Who knows? Maybe out of date. So
Well,
what
your
about
I can get you there to it.
your secondary's looking a little bit better. You kind of hit on the
Yeah.
young guy last year.
Yeah, Darius Slay. He
Can
wasn't
never
so hot
remember
as a
his name.
rookie, but he played very well last year.
Hmm.
Um, and who's the old guy?
is that Rasheem Mathis?
Thank you, Rasheem Mathis. I don't think he's
Former
on the team right
Jack.
now, but they might sign him back. He
He's had
seems to
a
be.
really
Yeah,
nice long career.
he has. It's surprisingly been very effective. So, and then Glover Quinn and James Ihedebu have been pretty good in the back end too. So I think they'll be okay on defense. I don't think they'll be as dominant as last year, but I think that side of the ball will be fine.
I know he was injured a lot, but how are they planning on replacing Reggie Bush?
Probably Theo Riddick gets first crack at that. There's a lot of running backs in the draft this year too, of course, and I wouldn't be surprised if they took one of them maybe on the second or third day of the draft. But in pretty limited action last year, Theo Riddick was really effective as a receiver, which is what Reggie Bush was basically. So if they opt to spend their draft capital on other things, I think he should be rostered in your dynasty leagues right now for sure. At the moment, he is the Reggie Bush replacement, and I think he'd be a pretty good one if he had that job full time.
So, hey, Showtime Tate was a big pickup, but, Calvin Johnson, the injuries are starting to mount. At some point, they're going to have to look for a replacement for the big guy.
Yeah, I think you're right. But his contract makes him pretty unmovable unless they get to a point where they do like Houston did and just cut ties. But I don't see them doing that. I think he'll play it out in
How
Detroit.
many years does he have left?
Let's check that out a minute. It's easy enough to look up. I think he can be.
$7 billion. No.
That's right. More money than
He's
I'll ever.
signed through 2019.
Oh, wow.
It's like wow. Look at his 2016. It's 16 million, then 16.5 million, then 17, and then 2019 it's 18,250.
Yeah.
When does the dead money start to level off? That's
Uh,
when they'll do it.
This year's the
Yeah.
top. I mean, wow. Yeah, it gets like 12 next
2017.
year, so maybe in a couple
Yeah.
years. I mean, he's 29.
Oh, he's still effective, and you can't do it. I'm not suggesting that they
Right.
should do it now, but
Take him to a
No, it's
farm
coming.
like you did that dog growing up. Sorry.
That's right. That's right.
You're done. I mean, you're Rotoviz, right? I mean, he's older than
Yeah.
like 22. He's done. He's out.
That's right. Yeah. If you hit 26, it's time to start moving those guys. Not really. But they can restructure him too, or sign him to a new contract to even that out. But 2017 looks like the easiest year to start thinking about that with him. He was still effective last year. He just missed time with injury. And so that's probably what it'll be like going forward. They really need Eric Ebron to figure things out.
tried to tell y'all 10 was too high. 10 was too high.
I don't know. I wonder if there's anyone else available then that might have been a good receiver.
That's many good receivers in this year's draft, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why Matthew Stafford just stopped throwing touchdown passes? Like, he had a breakout season, and then he's been in the 20s for 3 years in a row.
Yeah. Work ethic is one of the things that people talk about up here a lot. That he doesn't put in the work. He just, goes out there and ad-libs it. Maybe he's just not as talented as we thought a couple of years ago. I think a big part of the problem last year was the change in offense. They breaking in a new offensive coordinator. his first time being an offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi. And I think that was a big part of it. Now, whether he figures it out a little bit and adjusts things to better suit their personnel this year or not, I don't know. We'll see. But I think that was really the issue. If you look at the personnel from last year and the year before, there really wasn't that much of a difference. In fact, it was better because they added Tate, but the offense just did not perform nearly as well as it did with Scott Linehan. So I'm putting that on coaching more than on Stafford or any of the players. So hopefully they have been spending the off season talking to Mr. Lombardi about tweaking the playbook a little bit.
So when the Titans play the Lions next, should we get matching Chris Durham jerseys to wear?
Oh, yeah. One of those like 50-50 things, where you take the two jerseys and sew them together.
I just felt bad.
Lions
One of the
on
Titans beat writers was like, the Titans didn't give Chris Durham a RFA designation. I'm like, well, I wonder why.
He's
And
not good.
they brought him in at the last minute last year, like veteran cuts. And I think he was active once, twice, one had a ton of injuries. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. So, but he's kind of a good case study in why I think the problem with the Lions offense was the coaching, was the offensive coordinator last year. If you go back to the year before, Durham was the number 2 receiver. And he had, I look it up, at 50 catches, 800 yards, something like that. Right? He was still really inefficient and dropped every half passes that came his way, but he still put up some decent numbers too. And so you swap him out, you put Golden Tate in, and the offense screeches to a halt. Well, that doesn't make any sense. It's just, to me, it's play calling and scheme that let him down last year.
Were you Team Schwartz or not?
No.
No.
I was not a Schwartz fan. Yeah,
He's a good defensive coach.
He is. Buffalo had a great defensive year last year with him. But I just can't deal with his personality. It's too abrasive and too kind of arrogant. For me, if Bill Belichick wants to be arrogant, you can't really, you don't have to like it, but he can point to his rings. Schwartz is just arrogant, but he hasn't done anything. He's just kind of an ass. Yeah, he had to run down Jim Harbaugh and try to pick a fight with him.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure Jim Harbaugh said something to.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
But still, he's the guy at your office Christmas party that makes a scene every year. You feel bad for his wife. She's got to try to drag him out of her trunk. And
he's the guy who drops his pants and moons everybody.
That's right.
He's the only one who thinks it's funny.
That's right. He's got a Camaro.
Or what the Camaro or the car that's the 2-seater that has like the truck and the car together.
Oh, the El Camino.
El Camino.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Yep.
That's a throwback.
My grandpa had one of those, actually. He had the mullet too. Let's go with it.
So are you excited about the continued adventures of the best poker player of NFL coaches, Jim Caldwell?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's fine as a head coach. It's a nice change, kind of, from Schwartz. His demeanor.
Yeah, it's a contrast.
Personality. I don't know if he really adds any. I don't think he adds any win probability to the team or anything like that. But he's organized and gets the job done. I was glad they were able to hold on to the defensive coordinator, Austin, who had some interview opportunities elsewhere. So that's a good thing, in my opinion, that he's back next year.
Yeah, that was the underrated part of the
Steelers
team.
guy, wasn't he? Come from the Steelers?
Ravens.
Ravens, okay.
Yeah.
And it was one of those.
One of those AFC teams.
One of those.
The Lions were one of those teams you started your fantasy guys against, and then last year they actually had a good defense. That was the odd switch. It was like as you mentioned, they had this great, much improved defense, and then the offense was kind of like, what's the deal?
Yeah, if they could have the offense from the year before and the defense from last year, that might have been a nice combination.
So were you behind? I can't remember if I wrote of his story about the idea of getting rid of Joik in your dynasty leagues, since I'm someone who has him in a league.
Yeah, there's some guys on the site that are, kind of on that side of the fence that if you can get something for him, you do it. I'm not opposed. He didn't really get his start at playing time till later, so he's 29 already. A little older than you like maybe for a running back, but I don't know. I'm holding him. I'm just going to ride him into the ground.
He doesn't have a whole. I mean, yeah, but he's got pretty fresh legs.
Yeah. Yep. And he's right, like you said. He split time with Bush, and he's not going to be a true workhorse that way either. I don't think in the future. There'll always be someone on third downs and things like that. If they draft a high-profile running back, then maybe it's an issue. But I don't know. I'm going to keep him, keep playing him, keep riding him.
Yeah, he has 471 career carries. And he didn't even touch the ball until he was 26.
Right.
So he bounced around a lot.
His career is basically what DeMarco Murray did last season.
I recall, was he the guy, or was it Mikael LaShore who got the ball on that fourth down against the Titans in that crazy overtime game?
Oh, yeah. I think it was LaShore. Who's going to the Veteran Combine, by the way?
Oh, yeah?
Get your tickets, yeah.
Is that happening like this weekend or next weekend? It's got to be pretty soon. I'm wondering if it's going to get...
I believe it's this weekend.
A lot of excitement compared...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not compared to the rookie one.
Let's see.
Do you get anyone from Rotoviz
20...
who goes to the scouting combine, does all that stuff?
We might, yeah. It's at the Cardinals facility in Arizona, so we'll see if Sean Siegel lives down there in Phoenix, so we'll see if we can get him to go check it out. That'd be pretty fun. Tim Tebow's going to be there.
Yet. The Siegel compound, now that he's, big time.
That's right, that's right. He'll show up with shades on and a little entourage. Let's see who else is going to be there. Oh, Michael Sam, Mike Kafka, Felix Jones.
Ooh.
Tyler Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, right.
Michael
I think, that was a boo of yours in the past for about...
I'm still Team Tyler.
You're still Team Tyler. Go Hogs. Wee.
SEC. SEC.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not really chanting that with Missouri's basketball team this year. Woo, that was rough.
Yeah, well.
But James, are you excited that you have the only Twitter handle that's been mentioned by John Gruden on Monday Night Football by name?
Yeah.
Mr. Spider E2 Banana.
Yeah, that's why I chose it actually, because he talks about that all the time. He has for years. So it's kind of neat. It's fun.
I think it was so well known that somebody suggested that's what Seattle should have run at the end of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's become its own internet meme too, that last play of the Super Bowl. So let's see here. I was going to look up DeMarco Murray a minute. So he had...
Yeah, I'm wondering about DeMarco just because the free agency, we're like on day 2, day 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he was being linked to the Eagles, and they just signed Ryan Matthews. So somebody's he may end up back with Dallas and them getting him at a bargain. I mean,
right.
They're just kind of waiting it out. Just like the Titans are waiting it out with future Hall of Famer Derek Morgan. Sorry, Sharona.
Hey, there you go.
Derek Morgan
We
should
can
be
have
landing in Tampa any minute now. I expect them to sign. I sent him a tweet. Don't do it. But they'll offer him a nice contract. But I was like, look at Michael Johnson.
Didn't they just cut him?
Yes, they did. It was announced they were going to. The Bucks are a hot mess. I mean, I was big on the Lovie Smith bandwagon, but I fell off that baby.
I think it goes without saying with free agency that you just take the guys who are like second-tier guys who sign giant contracts and just go ahead and write the headline from next year. This player has to take a pay cut, or this player is going to be cut. That's just the nature
Right.
of the beast.
Right.
I don't know
Well,
about
they owed him a bonus. I forget how much it was, and so they were gonna. I think they saved like what $7 million or something like that by releasing him. I don't know, something like
Well, teams
that.
are smarter now, so they're definitely structuring the contracts in a way where they're not getting
Let me
rid of
look it
like
up.
30 million of dead money. But I think I made the joke before, and I'll do it again. So the Falcons need a pass rush, and if they sign Derek Morgan, they'll
Yes, they
still
did
need
cut
a
him.
pass rush because Derek Morgan is great at almost sacking quarterbacks.
Hey, if
And
they
I
ever
don't
start
know, does he fit
overshooting,
as a linebacker? I mean, do you think he fits with the Titans scheme, Sharona?
Who's that?
Derek Morgan?
Oh yeah, I mean he was great last year. Why do you think? Why do you think that the Titans were unable to stop the Browns at the end of that game? The dirty ass officials ejected him from the game while not ejecting any of the Browns players who were like doing all kinds of shenanigans. No, yeah, he had a fantastic year. Zach and I argue about a lot of things, including Derek
Not as
Morgan.
much as we should. I think this is
Zach
something important.
Zach is like the chicks who love the long ball. Zach
Huh.
digs
there
the
you go.
sacks. If a
Well, I
guy
haven't
doesn't
seen
have
one in
any
Nashville in like
sacks,
4 years. I
let
mean,
me
what's the
finish.
deal,
No,
you
no,
know?
no, no,
Except by the
no.
other team.
Let me finish. If a guy doesn't have sacks, to Zach, he's worthless. Never mind the fact that if you look at the numbers, Derek Morgan not only proved to be very good in coverage, but is still very efficient rushing the passer despite moving from the 4-3 to the 3-4.
I'm gonna have to go with Sharona on this one.
Well, of course, because you're smart.
Thank you,
Actually, if
James.
Derek Morgan put up the numbers that he did with the Bills, and the Titans would have signed him to like a 7-year, $50 kajillion contract by now. 'Cause let's see. Oh, Derek Morgan did lead the Titans in sacks last year with 6.5, which is probably a career high.
Wasn't there another guy who had 6.5 too? I think they were tied.
I see 6.5. Jarrell Casey only had 5, which I was like, come on,
Okay.
Jarrell Casey. He was the master of almost sack because he had like 16 year before. I think they need to re-sign him because they need a lot of help at outside linebacker, and guys that the Falcons cut probably isn't going to help them. But I don't know. I mean, they think we're at the range where teams are starting to go, let's save some money, you know?
Well, they're trying to sign
Mhm.
Brian Arakpo. I don't know where they are on
Oh
that
my.
either.
Yeah, he was in. I wondered if anything happened to that. Of course, you guys are neglecting the Major Harry Douglas signing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the guy I referred to. I traded a 2016 sixth round rookie pick for him, thinking, well, he's in Atlanta and those guys get hurt a lot, so he'll probably start a couple games. And now I don't know what he is in Nashville. I don't know what, because before last year I was thinking, well, Kendall Wright, Justin Hunter, Nate Washington still has something. They actually have a pretty good receiving core. Now they're like considered one of the worst in the league.
Well, I guess Nate Washington's maybe on the way out. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
follow the Titans that close, but
Yeah, he played his contract through, and
Mhm.
every year I think they wanted to cut him, but they're like, no, we need this veteran guy, and he always comes in and plays pretty well. See,
yeah.
I said something nice about a Titans player, Sharona. What? What?
I know. What's
But see, now you can have Douglas and
Expectations
Kendall
low.
Wright go out there and do like, dueling crossing routes or
Slot
whatever.
receiver.
yeah.
The 3 yard
That's right.
cross. The
That's
shallow
right.
cross and the shallower cross.
That's right. And they stack them, do right next to each other.
Ooh.
Nobody will stop it. It'll be invincible.
Championship.
On your way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought of Rockpo signed, but I guess he didn't, huh? No.
He was here. I know that they were working hard on trying to get him under contract. So I guess we'll see.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That would, push you guys right over the edge.
It would certainly help.
It would.
I mean,
So-
they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to get at least if they do manage to lure Brian Arakpo here and keep him. They're still going to need at least 2 more edge rushers. They've got to replace Cam Wembley on the right side, and God knows
That'll be
that
tough.
they could not use Akeem Ayers' services now, right?
I actually heard that Colin McCarthy might end up with the Patriots. I mean, that'd
I
be so
saw that.
perfect. He would be a guy who just kept getting injured for the Titans, looked good his rookie year, and then like the Patriots sign him, and he immediately becomes a starter.
Well,
Almost
they've
like what
got an
Todd Kelly
injury.
wants to do. They just
They've
wants replaceable
they've
guys,
got
just
an
to throw them in there.
injury-prone middle linebacker of their own. So if they could piece together a complete season from the 2 of them, they might be okay.
I wonder when NFL teams are going to start to, the Patriots on the phone, they want to trade for this player. Oh, crap, well, we better not trade him. They must know something about him we don't. It seems like every guy that goes there just does so much better than where he came from. At some point,
Well,
you'd think people would stop
the
trading.
trade
Kinda
the Titans
crazy.
made with the Patriots was similar to a trade I made in a dynasty league where I traded a this year 5th rounder for next year 4th rounder, and it ended up being a 501 for the 412. And the Titans basically traded their 7th round pick, which is the first, maybe the second, for the last pick in the 6th round, minus compensatory picks. So yeah, for a guy who made the last tackle, he did tackle Marshawn Lynch forward, but he didn't score, so that counts. Oh, the
There you go.
glory.
So, is Mettenberger quarterback?
Well, Sharona likes him.
They're all going to the Oregon Pro Day. There's a big contingent, woo, going to
All
the
right.
Oregon Pro Day to see Marcus Mariota.
Interesting. They're not going to trade for Sam Bradford.
I would hope not.
God, what a weird rumor. That is one of those moments where you're like, the NFL is not like fantasy football, where you're like, I'll trade for a guy because I know some other guy likes him and make a deal. In the NFL, that seems like a tough one. I'm still trying to figure out the whole Nick Foles Bradford deal. It's still kind of confusing because I think a lot of it's dependent on Bradford's health. I mean,
Right.
compared to like Bradford, Jake Locker looks like a guy who's never missed a game in his career, right? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
although Bradford, I think, has played 1 season, right? Didn't he play his rookie year? I'll go keep looking up
He made it
stats.
through.
I know mine nothing.
Can't
I guess it
remember.
depends how you look at it. I guess he's had only 2 injuries, right? They were just both season enders. Whereas Locker seems to have a different injury every week.
Oh,
Just
he actually
sometimes.
played the whole season his rookie year, the whole season his 3rd year, missed 6 games his 2nd year, and didn't even play last year. Yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt in the preseason? Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's missed a total of 25 games in 2 years. And Nick Foles, I guess I don't know. It's hard to say because I remember jumping all over Mark Sanchez in as many fantasy leagues as I could, and he didn't exactly blow anybody away with his stats with the Eagles. Like maybe that
No.
position isn't totally replaceable.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that of the 2, you saw enough out of Nick Foles that you're kind of excited maybe about the potential there. I don't know what Chip Kelly's doing, honestly. I keep saying this, but it's true. He's either a mad genius or completely mad. He's just
Right.
completely batshit crazy. I don't know.
Could be.
Guess
Could
we'll
be.
find out.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with some of the rumors that they traded for Bradford so that they can flip him for something, and then seems like too many moving parts. And if somebody really wanted Bradford, why wouldn't they just go get Bradford?
Yeah, why need a middleman? I think that's true, unless there's something out there that we don't know about, which is entirely true.
Well, wasn't
Sure.
that the title of the
But
article?
didn't they come out today? I think they came out today and said Chip was like, he had a press conference. I was writing and kind of keeping an eye on things, and he said these rumors are crazy. We're not mortgaging the bank on Marcus Mariota, and Sam Bradford's our guy.
Right on. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. That for some reason he wanted Bradford, but I'm not entirely sure what the reason was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Other than he didn't want Foles.
He still has Sanchez.
He apparently didn't want anybody. He didn't want Foles. He didn't want Shady. Didn't want Trent Cole. Right. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
He wanted Frank Gore for a minute.
For a minute. And Frank Gore was like, "Oh yeah, sure. What? Hello, my phone's ringing." I'm sorry.
I gotta take this call. I'm sorry, guys. So, is Andre Johnson better than Reggie Wayne?
We were excited. I think it was like, oh, he's out of the division. He's not going to torment the Titans anymore. And then, oh, he signed with they got the old guys again. I thought they signed Duron Carter. I thought he's in the Dynasty Dynamo. Maybe not.
Yeah, your Duron Carter shares are worthless now.
No, I think he set the record by far in our free agency. Like, he went for something like 80% of somebody's money. And he was, the fourth guy at best on their offense, plus they got two good tight ends, so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Reggie Wayne. I think that there's some concern about whether or not, he was completely recovered and all of that. And it did seem like there was some disconnect, maybe, going on a little bit. I think it's probably mostly a push at this point, although I do think that Andre Johnson, because of the situation and being in the AFC South, we know at least 2 games he's going to be extremely motivated for, eh?
That's right. The Houston games. Yeah, I guess
all I know is Andre Johnson beat Cortland Finnegan's ass, and so I will forever love him.
That's right.
But that was a tight... Everybody was happy that Finnegan got crushed. And I think he announced his retirement. He did pretty good for a 7th round pick. I mean, come on.
Out of lowly Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for him.
He did solid. So, James, do you think that the RotoViz theory on player age applies to fantasy writers and podcasters? So are we about to get steamrolled by a bunch of youngsters who have a better thring cone on the microphone?
No, I mean, I think you got to stay on top of your game. You got to keep in shape. I think it's for us on this side of the world, it's probably more like quarterbacks, where you tend to peak a little later, and your peak lasts a little longer. Peyton Manning style. You can just keep on going. It's more cerebral than physical. So I think you guys are in good shape for a few more years yet.
Well, that's good. I was a little afraid. So do you think, just based on last year's rookie class for wide receivers, do you think that means that people are going to go crazy with this year's rookies? And what about the class, in their sophomore year? Because it's kind of a mixed bag. Top rookies coming into their second year.
Yeah, I think, that's a good question. So last year in all of my fantasy league 10s, and redraft leagues and things like that, I faded the rookie receivers, right? I didn't really have much exposure to them at all because I figured even though they were really talented, that it takes time to acclimate and make a big impact at that position. So whoops, right? That didn't really turn out that way last year.
No, you're right, though. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is. But I'm going to do the same thing again this year. I'm not going to have much exposure to the rookie wide receivers. I think last year's class was just, fluky, historically great. And I think there's some good receivers this year, and they could, in the right situation, could have a good season. But I don't think they'll have nearly the impact right out of the door that last year's did. As for last year's, I think Odell Beckham is going to come back down to earth a little bit, but he's so far up in the stratosphere anyway that even regressing a little bit isn't going to hurt that much, right? Um, he's still probably going to be one of the top handful of receivers in the league. Really high on Mike Evans still. Still pretty high on Dante Moncrief, although the Andre Johnson thing slows it down a little bit, but that's not a long-term deal for Johnson. Jordan Matthews, right, now number one.
What about Kelvin Benjamin?
Yeah, I think Benjamin's probably going to be a good receiver, but I think he's probably at his ceiling, right? So I think, another 1,000-yard season, 10, 12 touchdowns, but I don't think he's going to make, incremental leaps like you might still see from some of the other guys. So
because he's old.
That's right. I think he's probably at his ceiling, but there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, it's a pretty good ceiling. I think long term, some other guys will maybe pass him by from that class, but I'm still really high on everybody in that class. Go ahead.
What about I forget his name, the Seattle Seahawks guy? I think they took him in this. Paul Richardson, isn't that his
name?
He just retore his ACL, so I think he might be done.
He did. Yeah, we have an orthopedic surgeon that does some writing at RotoViz, who wrote about Richardson, and the second ACL tear in the same knee is much more significant than the first time around. So the theory is that he's gonna, even if he comes back, he's gonna lack some of that top end speed and explosion. So not a good sign for his, dynasty prospects at all.
And then there's the guy in Jacksonville, and not Marquise Lee, but the other guy.
Allen Robinson. Yeah, yes. I really like him a lot too.
Do too.
Is that John Moore's guy from last year?
Yeah, John Moore's guy from last year.
Had a crush.
Yeah, he did, and he had 10 really good games. Was targeted and pretty effective right out of the, right as a rookie. So being healthy will help, and Blake Bortles being better would help too. But I like him a lot.
Well, they added Julius Thomas, so and Mercedes Lewis, they lost him. He wasn't on the field, and he's a guy that they just had. Poor Blake got thrown into the lion's den. He's
right.
One head case at wide receiver. It was just crazy down there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and maybe Justin Blackmon comes back and keeps his head on straight. I don't think so.
What do you make of Josh Gordon? Speaking of Justin Blackmon, is Josh Gordon done or not?
I'm gonna go with yeah. I don't want to go with yes, but there's a lot more evidence that he can't keep it together than that he can. Maybe he pulls a Chris Carter. But there's a reason you can remember Chris Carter too, right? Because it doesn't happen that often. The guys like that turn it around and keep it together. So.
Or he could be the next Titus Young.
Right.
Oh, is that too soon? Maybe not. When it comes to wide receivers, Titus Young is probably like number 8 on the heartbreak scale.
Yeah, disappointing. Even I like getting back to positive things. Jarvis Landry should be not that he's going to be a wide receiver 1 or anything, but. With Hartline gone and Gibson, I can't think of his first name, Brandon Gibson, gone.
Good guitar. Oh.
Right. He's, he had 100 targets last year, and he was double digits PPR points per game in the second half last year. So he should be a pretty solid, wide receiver 2 maybe this year.
Yeah, he put up a lot of like Shane Vereen type numbers, like 7 catches for 49 yards.
Right.
Like, wait, a wide receiver did that? Yeah, that's
right.
Who cares?
Right.
It's PPR.
Well, Ryan Tannehill was running the ball a lot. Their offense was moving because he was moving.
That's true. And by the way, in that mock draft that I mocked Sharona for, I got Calvin Johnson, pick 206. Whoop whoop.
Oh.
I'm going wide receiver, although I've noticed that running backs are kind of super thin, so I'm probably going to look later in the draft and go, wow, there are a lot of receivers and I already have a bunch. So, yeah, but it's okay.
Maybe.
We're trying things out.
back to the Dolphins and Jarvis Landry. Did they haven't traded Mike Wallace yet? I assume if he's still a Dolphin, I didn't miss anything there.
Yeah, he is. Or at least he was this afternoon.
Well, you know, Jarvis
Hey,
Landry might take over that role, the mouth puppet role.
There you go. There you go.
Does it say a lot about Mettenberger, the fact that he had like 2 really good NFL receivers at LSU who didn't put up really good numbers at LSU?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, or the offensive coordinator had an NFL offense, and
Cam Cameron, y'all.
that's right. That's right. Because who was their running back? It was Jeremy Hill, right?
Well, LSU, Alfred Brewer was like the 4th string running back for LSU that year, and he got drafted. It's like any LSU running back with a pulse gets picked up. So they do all right with those guys.
Right.
They do just fine. So how was your? You mentioned it in our interview, you know, from last year because it was so recent that you were talking about. We talked about DFS. So how'd you do last year, and what do you think it's going to be like this year?
Yeah. So last year was the second year I did the DFS thing. The first year, I bottomed out. I did awful. So last year I decided I was just going to play a very small amount of money. And I started the season with $35, and I ended with like 195 or 200, something like that. So it was successful in terms of, you know, increasing the amount of money, and it was definitely enjoyable. It's a fun thing every week to have that kind of rush feeling, you know, when you have somebody in your lineup and they're having a great game. Nothing beats it, but I'm not ever going to put a big amount of money into it. It's a lot of work. I did much better in the the MFL 10 kind of format, and also the Apex. I don't know if you played Apex leagues before or not, but those are really fun. It's just season-long redraft, but for money. So that was much more my style than the DFS thing. How about you?
Well, what's the Apex format? Because I've heard about that before.
Yeah, it's just 12-team PPR, head-to-head. So you set your lineup every week. You can trade. There's waivers, but you play 2 games every week. You play one head-to-head, and you play one against the average score for the week. So you could go 2-0, you could go 1-1, or you could go 0-2 in a given week. So it kind of smooths things out a little bit, right? You know, you always have that 1 week a year where your team puts up like, 195 points. You just happen to get the guy whose team put up 201 points, and so you wind up with a loss. But you'd still crush the average score, so you'd still get a win that way. So it kind of rewards you for having a better team, smooths out some of those quirky schedule things. Yeah, top 6 make the playoffs, top 2 cash at the end of the season. It's very fun.
I had one MFL 10, came in second. I don't even know if I still can find the free league from this year. And I did one DFS because I think I had $1.10 in like DraftKings.
Sure.
So I played 1 week and I did a 50-50 and I didn't even cash. So talk about lack of statistics. It's just
there you go.
frightening to look at the amount of work that the hardcore grinders do.
They do. I think DFS is fun if you throw $5 out there in a week or something, put a couple lineups out there, and then it gives you something to think about on Sunday and Monday when the games are playing. Gives you a little rooting interest in the games, but I couldn't handle the grind that some of the players put in.
Well, just as I reviewed our interview from last year, so do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Me singing is probably the most dangerous thing that could happen to any nightclub establishment. We'd probably get shut down in a hurry, but it's got to be "Don't Stop Believing," right?
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
I thought I'm too sexy. You got kind of a low voice, maybe, pull it
yeah,
off.
a little
Don't do the dance.
scratchy. A little scratchy. No, it's got to be "Don't Stop Believing" because it's small town girl, South Detroit, right? So you got the Lions, Detroit kind of thing. It's someday they could win. Don't stop believing. It's
Hmm.
the
Yeah, that
anthem. The bitter fan.
I remember. This is the 10-year anniversary of the White Sox winning the World Series, and it did happen. Everybody, it's not like the moon landing. It actually happened. But they had Steve Perry with the team because "Don't Stop Believing" was their song, and I always thought that's just kind of all right, whatever. It worked. I'll take it.
That's
Sharona's a
right.
little antsy because her pick's up in that draft. Just saying.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I just got the email.
yeah.
What
She'll be
about
right back.
what about a go-to beer? What's the good stuff in the Michigan area for us outsiders?
Yeah, when the weather gets a little nicer, it's Bell's. Any of the Bells, but Oberon, Solson. That's the go-to one in the summer for me.
Yeah, that's like an orange color. I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. It's good with a slice of orange in it.
Is it beer
If you're
with
into that
fruit?
sort of
We
thing.
can do it. Are you allowed to do that in the kind of? I don't know. Detroit's an unusual city because it has that kind of throwback, but it's strangely half abandoned, like I don't know, a lot of cities are.
Yeah, yeah. You guys saw that story a month ago or so about the guy that was walking to work 20 miles each way. No, you didn't see that story?
I think I
Was it
heard about
uphill and snowing?
Well, it
that.
was
Then it might
probably.
be one of my dad's stories.
No, he's a guy in Detroit. He had a job. His car broke down, so he just walked to work every day. But it was like a 20-mile one-way walk.
Wow,
So he's walking like 8 or 9 hours a day
that's
to and
pretty
from work.
impressive.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a car now. They did a little GoFundMe thing for him, and he came out all right on that. But anyway, that's Detroit. It's
GoFundMe is a neat little thing. You can do
it is
some
fun.
nice things for people.
It is fun. But yeah,
Yeah, you're
Detroit
good.
people are good.
So, James, where do people find you on the webs and all that, and the Twitters? And we ever be on Rotoviz Radio?
That's right. I've been on once. Looking forward to going on again. Um, they get a lot of success getting higher profile guys than me on there, though. So, um,
Like
Well, don't feel
Sharona?
bad. They had me on last week, so see, you would be a definite improvement.
I don't know about that. I was just going to say that you were on there. I haven't listened to the episode yet, though, so
It was
um,
fun. I enjoyed it.
I have to get behind. Yeah, Matt and John are very serious about their questions. They do a good job. They do a good job. Um, yeah, James Todd, rotoviz.com. Just type my name in the search box and you'll get all my stuff.
Yeah, and good luck trying to spell your Twitter handle.
I would not even
That's
attempt it.
something you try to do when you've had a couple beers, that's for sure.
That's right. No, if you find me on Rotoviz, there's a little button right there in the author pages that'll take you right to the Twitter. So
hmm Well, that sounds excellent. So, is there anything else you feel like you want to cover tonight, or any questions you want to ask us before we call it an evening?
I'm good, but I really appreciate having a chance to talk with you guys.
It was great to talk to you. I talked to NFC North last night on our NFL female webcast. The consensus was the Packers still own the division. What do you think?
Yeah, not even much of a question, I don't think. Um, yeah, Chicago's struggling. Minnesota might even pass them by this year. Detroit could be anywhere, from second to fourth, but I don't see anybody taking it away from Green Bay as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy.
That's right, as long as he's healthy.
That's right. Well,
He better be healthy. I just drafted him like really high in a draft I thought was a dynasty league.
there you go. They did re-sign Bulaga, right? So they
Yes,
kind of.
and
Yeah,
Randall
they got
Cobb.
Cobb and they got him, and I don't know about defensive guys. Seems like guys who are nickel cornerbacks are getting $6 million a year, so it's really hard to tell. And we have our special guest.
They'll turn to
Chewy.
the draft for that.
Chewy.
My puppy's been wandering around. She's got her
He
nose
likes
in a mouth right
lions.
now.
Thinks lions are cool. Yeah, exactly. So,
James,
Sharona,
thank you so much for joining us. It was great meeting you.
It's very nice to chat. We'll talk to you guys again
to
soon.
see you in person. So, Sharona, what you got? What you
Yeah.
got happening?
All right. Well,
Will you be able to tell us any big news, or are you gonna keep
I
it
do have big
under wraps
news,
for
but
weeks?
I do have big news, but I'm announcing it Friday morning. So you're gonna have to turn in to Game Over with Vashti and Sharona
Mm-hmm.
Friday morning,
Always
10
last to
a.m.
know.
Eastern Daylight Time. To catch my big news, you can find me on Twitter at Sports by Sharona. You can find me writing a lot these days at Pro Player Insiders. Check out all of our latest and greatest free agency news, and of course on NFL Female. And every Wednesday night, well, no, I shouldn't say every, because Zach and I will sometimes go with Thursday nights. But on Game Over, not Game Over, but Going for Two with Zach and Sharona.
It's at least your fourth favorite show, right?
It's my favorite show. It's my favorite show where I can hang out with the dudes. Where I can hang out with the dudes and drink beer, but I did not already had a glass of wine, so I didn't drink beer tonight.
You gotta stick with what you have. So, yeah, I will be most likely visiting Nashville this weekend. So watch out, Nashville. I'm coming in for a free agent visit. Oh, they already signed their long snapper. That's my favorite part. Is the Titans
Brinkley
had to lock down their long snapper and punter because those are two most
That's
visible
right.
players on the team. Zach_Law, and you go to Zach Law Online. Did an interview this week with Nathan Powell of Dynasty
Good
League
guy.
Football, who
He's
is
a great guy.
younger than some T-shirts I own, but that's okay. We don't judge here. He's definitely a guy that James would draft early because he's ascending, not descending. Anyway, so thanks everybody for coming on. Thanks to you, James, of course, and thanks to Sharona for putting up with my crap and cursing in the pre-show, not during the real show. So thanks everybody. I was going to say my usual, but my wife said I always say it, so I'm going to say good night and kiss my grits.